Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it. The weekend edition is here as we're live at the Single Barrel. We're kind of tucked right next to the buffet table. That's not intentional, but we're in a little nook and cranny here next to a Jack Daniels barrel. So you do the math on that. It is the home opener, Nebraska and Akron. Good to be with you. Back again here at the Single Barrel here, 3:30 to 5:30. Come on down, join us, get some pregame eats, maybe a big old steak, some whiskey, some beer, and you are invited down. Plenty to discuss with Nebraska Akron. Also, the Big Ten's showing so far today is Illinois, +5 in the turnover battle all over Dick. Iowa just short against Iowa State. And, of course, Michigan and OU tonight. The Fighting Mickey Josephs are down 3 touchdowns right now.
What a first quarter from Julian Sain.
To Ohio State.
Julian Sain, 10 for 10, 218 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
I would say last week was a confidence boost. Arch Manning bounced back in a vicious way. Mark Kraynak en route. We should hear from the Pride of Fairbury, Bill Dolman. Brandon Vogel in about 15 minutes from Counter Reed, the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp en route. You can always find, like, and subscribe to the Average Joe Sports Show. Do so on YouTube, the Average Joe Sports Show YouTube, and do so also on the podcast form, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, AJ Sports Radio, on Twitter, the Sunday Live tomorrow at 10:30. We traditionally flex schedule 2 hours before kickoff, whenever that is. So you have the 6:30 kick tonight on BTN. You've got us here at 3:30. We'll try and dive in today. What is important tonight for Nebraska football and some non-negotiables, some must-haves as poor Justice. Did we unlock the door for Justice after yesterday's show, or is he still stuck in studio from yesterday?
No, I delivered him a change of clothes and dinner, so he seems to be doing well. We pulled my old cot out of the back room, and we had that set up nice. And I have a nice little pad that goes on the cot for him. I've really pulled out all the stops for young Justice now that he's back.
Yeah, Justice is like, you two goons, just be quiet or I'll get mad. And
break the shackles.
Yes, he will. He will go sloth on us and just rip out of the wall. Goonies reference. Justice, have you seen Goonies?
I've seen it once or twice, yes.
One more time.
I've seen it once or twice, yes.
Okay, yes. Remember when Sloth ripped the chains?
Can you say, hey, you guys, for us real quick?
Hey, you guys.
But like when Pete Davidson said it. So it's like, hey, you guys.
How are we feeling today? It is just absolutely glorious outside. So many folks out and about in the parking lots with the grills fired up. That's all well and good. But
it's a complicated day to dress for the game tonight because outside, right? It's perfect.
We're going fashion to start. That's how big Akron and Nebraska is. I love it.
It's a perfect shorts and t-shirt kind of day outside right now. But by the time the evening rolls around, it might be pants and hoodie type weather. So it's one of those tough fall days where you might have to bring a change of outfit to your tailgate so you can be set up for success both in the tailgating sense and in the game sense.
Well, I just got the RPO in terms of clothes already.
He does. How about the old delayed RPO that Iowa was running, where it's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi? I guess I'll take it from the running back and roll out and
then throw an
incompletion.
pass.
Yeah. I like the delay RPO that Iowa had going. Man, I just expected Iowa to be better today and figure it out. They do well typically at Jack Trice. Their quarterback, though, leaves a lot to be desired. Conversely, and I know you sent this tweet out, follow Elijah on Twitter at Herbal Essence, when we talk about some of the talking season tiers of quarterbacks. you had Gronowski and Dylan Raiola in that fourth tier of Big Ten quarterbacks.
That was nationally.
That was nationally.
They had Gronowski as number 39 in the country, and Dylan Raiola is 40. And Sorsby, by the way, was like 22.
Okay, so
that list is
been set on fire for sure. But it'll be an interesting day to see just what Nebraska does. And there's been a lot of talk this week about quarterback play and what Nebraska did and didn't do on offense, fellas. Let's start there. Plenty of time defensively to get there.
Before we go to Nebraska, I do have to make a retraction. I have been on record a couple different times this offseason saying I thought Mark Gronowski was going to elevate that Iowa offense. I thought Mark Gronowski was going to come in and be a bit of a breath of fresh air. I was 100% truly dead wrong. And I want to make sure that I own up to that. I fess up to that. That was a horrible take from me. Mark Gronowski is not good. And I think the record that he broke today was the fewest passing yards from a Big Ten quarterback in the first 2 weeks of the season. Good for him. He has eclipsed 120 yards, so congrats, Mark Gronowski, but it is not a good look for me, so I want to make sure I'm on record saying I was wrong. It happens. Not my first bad take. I'm sure it won't be my last bad take, but I want to make sure I own up to that here before we get too deeply into things.
It's all right, and there's been a lot of hand-wringing about just Dylan's performance. One national talking head gave quarterback grades and gave him a C+. I think we were at the B+ range for what he did. But one thing that I think Dylan tried to do a year ago, and this is typical, sometimes you try and do too much, all right? And last Thursday was a case in point, fellas, where if you tried to do too much, that would have or could have cost you the football game based on how Cincinnati's defense was playing that Iron Dome shell where you couldn't get downfield very often. You had to take what they had. You had to dink. You had to dunk. You had to be on time.
You went Iron Dome?
Well,
you do news talk in the morning. I get it.
Well, you couldn't get downfield very often is what I'm saying. It's like a missile trying to penetrate. It doesn't happen, okay? Sorry. I did go Iron Dome there. So, point is Nebraska needed to make some explosives with yards after catch, and that was minimal. And it'll be interesting to see how Nebraska plans to attack Akron. It's not quite a good-on-good scrimmage for Nebraska, but it is another opponent. Mr. Mark Kraynak is here. All right, good to see you. Sneak on through here, Big Cat. We'll get you on. As we're going to.
How are those sunglasses just balancing there?
Kraynak is the king. He's had sunglasses for every time I've seen him at a Nebraska game.
I thought he had like one of the things around his neck that hold like the little tie on the back of your sunglasses that holds him up, but no,
he's not. And Kraynak's got the windbreaker going.
Hi,
yeah, Mark.
I brought one just in case.
I like it.
How's it going?
Good to see you. What did you think of Thursday?
Of Thursday. What specifically about Thursday?
The passing game.
Oh, you're talking about last game.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was doing some research. Look out. I went into the Average Joe research department, commissioned a study.
Usually that's a one-man band, so I'm glad we had some help this week in there.
Commissioned a study. I got a little trivia for you.
Okay. All right. This will be good. Kraynak trivia. Kraynak karaoke.
How many times has Dylan Raiola thrown for 300 or more yards?
None.
0.
How many plays does he have 60 or greater?
1.
60 yards or greater?
He had one to dude from Texas.
That was just under 60, wasn't it?
Mayer. Was it 59?
I don't think he's had one over 60.
He hasn't. And I was thinking about, listen, there has been a lot of criticism of the passing game with Dylan Raiola. And I don't think it's exclusively him, right? I mean, there's a reason you got rid of your offensive coordinator and brought in Dana Holgorsen. But when you land a 5-star, like, what visions do you have in your head when you land a 5-star quarterback? And trust me, this is not
Trevor Lawrence.
This is not Pinata Dylan. Right. That's who you kind of think of, right? This is not Pinata Dylan Raiola time. That's not what I'm saying.
There are games, though, where Trevor Lawrence threw it 50 times, completed 38 of them, and was under 250. That's what he's doing in the NFL now.
Completely. And it's not all about 300 yards. It's not all about 60-plus yards on it. whatever, and this isn't all on Dylan. But why does there seem to be like a big play lid on this offense? When you get a 5-star quarterback, that's not what comes to that. So I think I don't know if it's criticism that he's hearing, but you are hearing just a little more chatter of like, last week with Cincinnati, like, God, that was just
you're
gross.
Expecting wow.
Thank you. You're expecting Aaron Judge, and you're getting a 260 hitter with 20 bombs.
But it's still,
you're bombs. Just like it's good. It's good. Like it's good. You're not gonna. It's not like you're mad and think he sucks. It's not that. But man, you're expecting at least like one sweet play action where he just plants his foot and uncorks one 65, 70 yards in the air and hits a guy in stride. You're thinking maybe he goes for 350 against someone like, I don't know, Akron.
And he could. And he
somebody could. Right? And I think that's just what, at some point, I think it's just something Nebraska fans have to see. It's something we have to see at some point here. Like, it is okay to be explosive. It is okay to have wow plays. It is okay to put up big numbers and big points, and you just haven't seen it in a while.
It's okay to take over.
It's Kyle Tucker, you're saying, Kraynak. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Kyle Tucker.
I do wonder in the coming weeks, Nebraska, and I watched a whole video breakdown. It was Dana Holgorsen. He was at Houston. He had a coaching clinic, and he talked about the downfield passing attack that he opens up. It's in his arsenal. When you think Dana Holgorsen, you don't necessarily think 60-yard bombs.
No.
You think the mesh routes attacking between 5 and 15 yards, but he has that in his playbook. My question is we're going to see Dylan Raiola uncork a deep ball at some point this year. That I'm confident in.
Are you sure?
I'm confident at some point this year he's going to uncork a deep ball. My question is Akron the week where you pull that out of the playbook and put it on film? Do you put it on film against Houston Christian to appease the fan base? Or do you go surprise Michigan week 4 where you haven't had a single downfield shot all year long, and now you're pulling that one out of the playbook in the first quarter, and now you're up 7-0, whatever it may be?
Justice is ready to melt down. Go for it.
No, it just feels like I kind of get what Kraynak's saying, because you really haven't seen them test the deep waters ever since the Illinois game where he missed Lindenmeyer by maybe a half a yard. I mean, It wasn't that much that he missed him by, but you haven't seen him really try to uncork one. So I'm almost wondering, are they, as a staff, gun-shy to let him go? Or is it also like he's not the most accurate and there's a lack of downfield separation from the receiving core? We saw that a lot last year where guys really struggled to get separation into the second level and really break away from guys, and I think they finally have that.
You said it perfectly. You didn't see separation. Guys didn't beat their – I mean, you had the back shoulders that he's pinpoint accurate on.
Totally.
You have those layered throws where you got to drop it in a bucket 17 yards downfield. You have a situation where he's throwing a 12-yard out 40 yards on a rope. So the arm talent's pretty exquisite.
It's there.
But right. what you do have this year, we think, are some better weapons that can win some one-on-one balls downfield.
Yeah.
Whether that's a 24-yarder that Cincinnati said we're going back to this shell defense after Hunter made the catch on the sideline against Cincinnati.
Yep.
They weren't going to die that way. Cincinnati made a choice to not die downfield and make him drive it for you, make him complete tackle, and let him paper cut you to death.
And another thing that I want to bring up here, Gary brought it up on the Sunday edition last weekend of the Average Joe Show. Do you guys feel that Dylan Raiola has a pressure on his shoulders to not screw up? Like, do you think he's unwilling to uncork the deep ball? Because, hey, there's a 50-50 chance downfield, or I got this underneath route to my tight end where I think I got a 75%, 80% chance of completing it. I'm going to take what the defense is giving me, take the easy throw as opposed to uncorking one downfield where now you have potential for a turnover.
We've heard routine all offseason from Dana.
Yeah.
And that's a contrast to a guy as a freshman with the hype and the hope attached to him.
Yeah.
That felt like he had to go do it himself or force it. You got to rewind that a bit where you're not having to, you don't have to force it. Just take the completion and let's make 2nd and 2 happen.
And I think it's important. It's nuanced enough to where we should say it. Like, this isn't criticism of Dylan himself, right? It's the entire system. It's the receivers, like Justice brought up, right? I mean, it's their lack of separation. It's the play calls. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the head coach's influence on it. It's a million things. But But I think the reason why we're hearing more about it is because he is a ballyhooed 5-star, right? Like that. This is a top shelf elite talent, supposedly. I think we all agree with that. But it's almost like he's not able to unleash that. He's not able to show that. It's like LeBron shooting nothing but free throws or something, right? It's just like, no, the dude can drive. Like, he can do all kinds of things.
20 a game,
but you don't get to see
it. Justice would appreciate this. There is a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander joke that can be made there with your NBA MVP going to the free throw line and scoring all those points from there.
Well,
it just feels safe, doesn't it? It just feels like like he's a young bird, and they're just kind of teaching him how to fly by like holding him and letting him flap his wings. At some point,
I know.
Throw him and see if he can fly. Right? Be brave. Let him be a maverick. Let him unleash some of that magic we know he has in the arm, and let him test it. If he screws up, he screws up. Right? But at some point, you can't just hold on to him and say, "Oh, he's learning how to fly," because we're holding on to him when he's flapping his wings. At some point, you just got to let him go and see if he can do it.
Like, totally. Because, what do you get? You get like a dual threat quarterback, or you get like a pocket passer quarterback, right? To use some of the CFB 26 kind of parlance there. You don't get a 5-star game manager, right? Like, it's just like those things are just so polarized. But that's essentially what he is right now. And you can't fault him for it. And he does make beautiful throws that you have to, like, kind of having been watching football for a long time to appreciate, right? They might look like normal throws. The way he can thread stuff, the way he can pop over a backer and drop into a bucket. He's very talented, but man, it just feels like he's a 5-star game manager.
Part of that 5-star you get is his intellect with the freedom of the offense. We bring in Brandon Vogel, Counter Read, counterread.com. Vogues is hunkered down and serious in his football office. He has tried to find bleach for his eyes with Iowa's passing game. You could have Iowa's passing game, Kraynak.
How many yards did they end up with today?
I do not know. I just know it wasn't good.
Is it 84 yards passing, I think?
84.
Yuck.
Vogues, you look disappointed. Not mad, disappointed.
I mean, no, I'm just kind of amazed. Given... And I mean, they still lost by 3. Like, Iowa State's kicker had to make a heck of a kick to get it done, but you just expected more with the quarterback that they brought in. But even more than that, for me, was like the gains that Iowa legitimately kind of inarguably made a year ago. Like, they didn't start scoring 42 points a game, but in terms of like yards per point, yards per play, like they were up there in terms of the best like improvements year to year amongst offenses a year ago. So for their passing game to struggle, and like I like their receiver core too. So it's been odd with the Hawkeyes, and as is often the case with them, like none of it all seems to matter that much because they're still in a 3-point game against a pretty good Iowa State team.
Yeah.
Vogues, Phil Parker is earning his paycheck every single weekend coaching Iowa football.
I think he is. Where do you come out here on this week's narrative on Dylan Raiola, where he screamed efficient with the completion percentage, the 2 touchdowns, the 4th and 2 go ahead that was ultimately the game winner, but the wow factor? How do you digest all of that here as we look towards this sophomore season?
Yeah, I think it's been much discussed at this point, more than a week on from a Thursday opener, about how Cincinnati plays defense generally and how they specifically did it in that game. They were willing to live with those completions, but and I kind of looked at it and said, and I wrote this on Monday, that the yards per completion was a concern I had, or yards per attempt was something I wanted to see Raiola improve upon, or the offense generally improve upon, and that wasn't there at all. But watching that game a couple of other times, and Nebraska I think was just content to, if they're going to complete 80%, and once they got up 13-3 in that sort of game, it felt like they were in a bit of control. Mm-hmm. So I think there were some good things from Raiola, some growth areas in terms of getting the ball out quickly, in terms of making better decisions and better reads. So I think there was some of that. Like I came away like Thursday night kind of thinking, oh boy, you sure wanted to see a little bit more. Upon a second and third rewatch, I was kind of like, no, I think there was something here that could still show up later. So it was kind of more of a incomplete versus a bad grade or a good grade.
Brandon, great points, and the guy Raiola does a good job. He's a good quarterback. I don't think anybody's saying he's not, right? It's just more about, if I had told you when he had committed that now entering his 15th game, he has not thrown for 300 yards, he hasn't completed anything over 59, that you wouldn't believe that, right? I mean, with the 5-star, you just sort of expect big plays are going to happen, don't you?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, the 300-yard mark is it was always the number for passing, right? It was the equivalent to 100 yards rushing back in the day. So that one surprises me a little bit. When I think back to Nebraska's offense a year ago, like it would have surprised me more at the start of 2024 than say the middle of 2024 that he didn't end up getting there in one game. I mean, it's a bit surprising when you look at the Wisconsin game that he didn't get there yet either. That game's going to come, and it's going to come this season. I pretty strongly believe that based on what I saw at Cincinnati when you read between the lines a little bit. But I think that's ultimately the point, right, Mark? You're like, 5-star, you're hoping you don't have to read between the lines.
Right.
But, here we are 14 games in, and I think that's still kind of the case.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Vogel with us from counterread.com as we're gearing up for Nebraska, Akron. And Vogues, we touched on the Raiola talking point today, and, it'll be interesting to see, how long, if things go well for Nebraska, Dylan plays, and then who's next and what you get to see from some of the backups. So the tone this week from the coaches was a little frustration. There should have been more points. Dana felt there should have been more yak yards. Dana felt there should have been defensive linemen flying off the ball, not stuck in the mud. I'm kind of putting my own sprinkling in there. From a tackling standpoint, I don't think they were ticked about that. And I thought they think the secondary played at a high level because they did. But that's the narrative this week. So the narrative this week is to, kind of look in the mirror, get better, and improve. With Nebraska, where do you think it shows up today? Do you think because of the opponent, they're on fire from the get-go? I know that, listen, there's a couple of guys on the squad this week that had the coaches in their kitchen a little bit for some things they didn't do. And I'm anxious to see how a couple of those guys respond. But overall, what's healthy for today? What's important for today for Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a long list coming out of that Cincinnati game. I would guess the place you might most easily see it would be on the O-line, which I thought was okay against Cincinnati. And my expectation for that group coming in is better than okay. Now, that said, Dante Corleone's a big dude, and that's a good Cincinnati defensive front. So against a defensive front in Akron that doesn't have that kind of size, I think if we come out of this in a couple of hours and we're not like, oh, that was a pretty good game for the O-line, that would be a flag for me because I expect them to be pretty good. And specifically, like, I thought Justin Evans did a really good job basically battling Corleone to a stalemate, which, given the caliber of player that he is, that's a pretty good day at the office. It was a little more varied across that front. Defensively, I think there were, in terms of long-term concerns, Nebraska's defensive front was probably a bigger one than any of the others coming out of it. And not that I'm saying like they can't improve and get better. I think they can and will. But, it looked like a big difference from the past couple of seasons, which I think was fair to expect. but you're still hoping you didn't notice it quite as much. That might not be so much the case here. I wrote in my Thursday column, like, Nebraska only had those 2 takeaways, which is good, and 2 tackles for loss, which was they were the only team to have 2 tackles for a loss and win in week 1.
Jeez.
So getting back to, and this is a defense that probably needs those negative plays more than the previous 2 Tony White defenses did. So that one's pretty high on my list going into this one.
This is
we're up against a break here.
Okay.
Justice, how much time do we have left on the clock?
We got 30 and rolling.
30 seconds. All right, Brandon, quickly. Who has more passing yards today, Mark Kraynak or Akron?
That's a good one based on Cincinnati. I'll go with Gronowski.
Okay.
84.
I like it. Vogues, we'll get a couple more thoughts and we'll get you out. Hang tight. It's the Average Joe Sports Show Weekend Edition. We're live here at the Single Barrel in front of Nebraska Akron.
Are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, the original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I spent years living in fear of calcium oxalate crystal stones, always afraid of when the next one would hit. Now I just take Kidney Cop.
Battling calcium oxalate stones? It's time to try Kidney Cop, a doctor-recommended kidney supplement that has been shown in laboratory tests to reduce the growth rate of calcium oxalate crystals by 99%. Get Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
If you're stuck in a timeshare you no longer want, call the experts at Lone Star Transfer. They will help you with a guaranteed solution to exit your timeshare. For the past 15 years, Lone Star Transfer, a family-owned company, has helped over 30,000 owners break free. With an A+ rating at the BBB and thousands of 5-star reviews, Lone Star Transfer is the only company you can trust to deliver real results. For a free consultation, call 844-284-4739 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real
real cash back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code
local news. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Weekend edition continues here. The Average Joe Sports Show live at the Single Barrel 9th and P inside the Graduate. Glorious weather outside, windows here. It's cool about the Single Barrel, not only how amazing their steaks and chops and burgers and whiskey selection and beer choices are, but they've got those convertible windows here. You can kind of feel like you're out on the patio. Elijah Herbel, Mr. Mark Kraynak, Justice Rhody, and Brandon Vogel giving us some overtime here on the Average Joe Weekend Edition at Brandon L. Vogel on Twitter. His book, of course, Get That, Dream Like a Champion with John Cook, and counterread.com. So get subscribed to that and get amazing Husker coverage, football, volleyball, all things Big Red from Vogues and Aaron Sorensen. So Vogues, we're objectively looking at this Akron, Nebraska matchup, and we've hit the Dillon thing. Let's talk defense, and what are your projections, Bud, for just what kind of a front Nebraska can become? I think we feel like you got some fellas that can emerge. How quick does that happen as young as they are? They don't have a ton of experience, but we do like the talent we see.
Yeah, we do. Like I thought in that Cincinnati game, Keona Davis played pretty well. He's young, which means he's probably still a little bit undersized, for what he will be and what they want him to be. Didn't see, as much as I thought we would of Riley Van Poppel. That's been curious to start the season, but I suspect we'll see more. I don't think there were really any issues to take with Vincent Shavers at that second level. The rest of Nebraska's linebacker group was a bit of a mixed bag, so they need some guys to come along. I mean, it's I've had a hard time this week. Like, I'd say all these things and then I stop myself and be like, what a luxury it is for Nebraska to have won a tough game against a power conference opponent and to be able to come away and talk about these things while still being 1-0, because that hasn't been the case very often. So that's why a game like tonight, is, people might look at it and be like, it's going to be, a blowout. Presumably that's what the line would have you believe. And hopefully Nebraska can do that, because that would be continued progress. Because for them to do that, they haven't done that to a lot of teams. They've scored more than 40 points once or twice under that rule.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, with the elevated line that you see today, is it settled at 34.5? Is that where it's at?
I think that's where we go.
Does it matter to you, Brandon? Not from a betting sense, just from a general sense. Does it matter if Nebraska covers in this football game?
Does it also matter from a betting sense, Mr. Vogel?
Yeah.
No to the latter, for sure, and no to the former. Really, I mean, when I came up with score prediction, I didn't have Nebraska covering because they just haven't. With the way that they've played under this staff, and they haven't covered games like these very often. And you score 35 points, you'd have to pitch a shutout then, which Minnesota did it. Penn State did it today. Yeah, I mean, that would kind of be the ultimate impressive performance if Nebraska finally checked the shutout box after however long it's been, 2009. That would be something. But no, I don't think winning 42-7 is a prerequisite for us to see some good things from Nebraska tonight.
So Nebraska defensively, I mean, we've already talked offensively about maybe how Cincinnati played, has an impact. And I think that's totally fair and a big factor in why Nebraska didn't go up top or have a lot of flashy plays. Defensively, I'm kind of wondering if we're overlooking how different Cincinnati was offensively. Like, there's been some consternation about the 200-plus rushing yards, but it seemed to me that had a lot more to do with a scrambling 230-pound 4-5 running quarterback than it did something structurally. Was that your kind of takeaway too?
He would make such a great NFL tight end. This is an aside, but like that dude, like no offense to his quarterback abilities.
You've already just put a deep six into any hope or promise that maybe you can get better throwing the ball.
Dude, in terms of running, he's like, I mean, he's Taysom Hill is like a comp for him. I mean, the he's a load and he's fast as hell, and it just seems like that's why they got their yards.
Yeah, I mean, if you took out all of Sorsby yards, which isn't fair to do, but if you took them all out, then you held two pretty good running backs, a legitimately good rushing attack from a year ago to 100 plus, like 100 and change, So that's something. I think that's valid, and you can't totally erase what Sorsby did. Give him 50 yards. So then you're getting into territory. It's like, not bad for an opener. Maybe you got a chance to get better. And I think Nebraska eventually will. Like, I think they'll have more success against some traditional rush attacks. And I mean, I mentioned that the tackles for loss, like there just weren't a ton of those. And when you don't have those, it's tough to have like that really high rushing defense rankings or stats that we've seen from the recent past with the Tony White defenses. So I still kind of go back to that as my baseline, and particularly given like Nebraska was pretty aggressive in terms of sending extra men against Cincinnati, particularly in the first half. And for those not to pay off, I think is probably the bigger issue than just, they can't, we have concerns about stopping the run.
Brandon Vogel with us from Counter Read, Average Joe Sports Show, weekend edition here at the Single Barrel 9th and P inside the Graduate ahead of Nebraska and Akron. You said Mr. Tony's name, so you couple Nebraska's lack of pressure, although the coverage was glorious, with what Mr. Tony's defense did and Florida State's defensive line did. Do you think that was a little sandpaper to Nebraska fans?
I mean, I wouldn't blame him if it was. I certainly watched Florida State game and, saw some
guys.
Hey,
that was our guy.
Yeah, it used to be in Scarlet and Cream, and also the LSU game. And it's like, there's Jamari Butler down in crunch time. And LSU gets a pretty big win. And it's always tough with that. Like, you don't want to take the sandpaper to people intentionally, but I think it's just natural to look at that and be like, would have been nice to have those guys, or at least one of them, still, when you see what they're doing at their new schools. Both picked up top 10 wins, or all three of them. Those three that we mentioned picked up top 10 wins in week one.
Well, let me ask you the question. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. The preseason press conference chatter, Matt Rule and Butler, they wanted that defensive line, that front seven, really to be hell on wheels. That was the term that they used. I personally didn't see hell on wheels against Cincinnati. What does hell on wheels against Akron look like to you? Because I think Tony White's
Vincent Shavers.
Tony White's defense, what he had the last 2 years, what he showed against Alabama last week with Florida State, that feels like hell on wheels to me. So it's a little interesting that you're talking about hell on wheels whenever the coach that I think had a hell on wheels mindset is down at Florida State now.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe these are numbers that are too low, but you'd like to see probably 2 sacks. It'd be nice to get to the quarterback, particularly if Nebraska is doing what it was last year and dialing things up at an increased rate from where it was in 2024. Pair that with 5.5, 6 TFLs, and that'd be a good start. It wouldn't be a hell on wheels yet, but you'd at least be out in the river Hades, I guess, considering the opponent, and see where you can go from there. This should be a game where Nebraska can get some of those. And like I said, they're playing defense to get those negative plays. I mentioned it a couple of times, to come up with so few of them, minus the takeaways, which those were big, is not an alarm bell, but at least, hey, let's revisit this tonight in the next available action we get.
Vogues will get you out. I need a score prediction here. What happens? We've got Ed Foley in the chat asking, does Nebraska break 60 today? And no, TJ, formerly Jay, I'm drinking water with lemon. It's not Tito's and lemon. I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, allegedly.
No.
No, we're good.
If they played 8 quarters, maybe. I was at 35-6.
Okay.
And you think about 60. I mean, Minnesota got to 66, and they had what, 50 something at halftime. Like it's a hard number to hit. You almost have to get a little bit lucky and keep the pedal down, which this coaching staff's not going to do in a game such as this. Well, like any game, really, I don't think. So yeah, I'll be under 60, but 35-6, which I think is solid. We'll see some good things. We'll see some more things that keep us talking all week. But it's a chance for Nebraska to get better, and I think it'll be promising overall.
All right, Vogues, I know we said last stop. I got one more quick one for you. Assuming this game goes the way you'd expect a Nebraska-Akron game to go, and there are backups playing the majority of the second half, pick your second half of the game MVP.
Ooh. I like that.
Let's go with much talked about this week, but let's go with Carter Nelson. Let me see a 3-4 catch half out of Carter Nelson. I mean, I think we'll see him earlier than that. If he is, close to 100% back. But in terms of a second half, maybe that's not even far enough down the depth chart, but I guess we'll see in terms of score.
Vogues, you take care. Tell folks about Kyle Reed, how they can get on board with you and Aaron and the in-game chat and, of course, all the coverage.
Yeah. You can head to counterread.com, see what we're all about. As we were talking here, Aaron just flipped our game day chat live, which is for subscribers. So if you want a place to hang out online that isn't doesn't come with all of the bells and whistles, maybe for lack of a better term, of Twitter. Plenty of features at Substack. I actually quite enjoy the format, but it's different than what you'll experience on Twitter. We got a pretty good group there, so those are pretty fun. So I'll be hopping into that pretty soon, and then have my Monday column ready to go first thing in the morning.
Can't wait for it. Brandon Vogel, Counterread, counterread.com. Vogues, enjoy your football Saturday. Thank you much, bud.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There he is.
Thanks,
so this
Brandon.
is good to hear from Vogues. Joe Mama, the RV was in Kansas City, and now she is scouting out Oregon.
Okay.
So she is scouting out Oregon. She's scouting out the Huskies this week, and maybe there's a future Northern California school on the schedule she'll be scouting out as well.
That is solid. That is solid. San Jose State return trip. Why not?
Possibly. Maybe a little Fresno.
We know she's not scouting on Oklahoma State. We know she's not scouting them out.
No, she is not.
They are getting battered right now.
Yeah. Old Dan Lanning and company. The Iron Horse has emerged.
Sure has.
Gary Sharp is in the building. We will get him hooked up here momentarily. Fellas.
Gary's conducting an important interview, actually.
He is.
Yeah. Class of 2031 getting interviewed right now.
I know.
Gary's getting the inside scoop.
It's a future recruit.
He's
Is
getting the inside.
it a visit weekend here?
It might be. Speaking of which, saw Millard South, Millard West last night.
Did you go watch?
65-0 final score.
Tanner's team got to line my son's team got to line the field to for the tunnel walk for the Millard West kids, because that's it's the feeder program he's playing on. Dude, it was brutal. And you know what's funny is, like, Millard West does not look like some crappy team.
No, they were 1-0 coming in.
Yeah, they had big dudes. They're good size. One of the bigger teams probably in the Metro.
Millard
They
South,
just looked like
they might not lose, or they might not win any game this year by less than 40. Dude, they're that good.
Second play was like a 70-yard go route, and then that kid that's going to Illinois, the running back.
Kid out of Grand Island.
99 yards down the near sideline, and he probably hit he had to have hit 22 miles an hour. He had to have. I mean, the dude was flying. I mean, it was like
Wheeler.
It was sort of like, you remember when Team Magic would get loose and you'd just be like, oh my goodness. Like, that's what this dude did, man. He outran some angles where you're like, and he's big, he's thick. You're just like, yeah, they are ludicrously talented. Ludicrous. I think Millard West ended up with like -5 yards, like for the game, and it was 45-0 at half. It could have been 52-0, but a guy stepped out of bounds, so they called it back. Running clock second half. I mean,
we're talking about one of the better teams Nebraska high school football has ever seen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't, and I've watched it for a while.
You've been doing games 20 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like them. I don't even know if anybody's going to stay within like 28.
So
35.
how many points would Millard South put up on Akron? Let me ask the
be a tight game.
No,
be a tight game. I'm
no,
kidding.
There's still levels to this.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You have 17-year-olds against guys who are in Division I FBS weight programs.
For sure.
So
I think Millard South.
They could beat the Panthers though. That's different.
They could probably beat like no offense to these schools. I bet you they could beat like your Dones of the world, your Midlands. Those would be competitive games, I think.
They would, because you still got some big dudes that somehow slip through the cracks and end up there. You know.
Yeah.
Might be kind of tough.
So we ran into an average Joe that he was stationed overseas. Nick came by. He's with his family. He's been all over the world for the Air Force, and came by as we were setting up to say what's up and shout out. And it's good to see him. And so many folks pop in from time to time here at the Single Barrel when we do our Saturday shows. Awesome to see everybody. Thank you for tuning us in. And Big Red Junkies and BJ came by and said what's up as well. So thanks to all of you in the stream. We're getting your comments up on the stream as well. Can always hear the show 7 days a week on YouTube when you like and subscribe to the Average Joe Sports Show, Twitter, AJ Sports Radio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Podcast, where you can download as well. Sunday Live tomorrow at 10:30. Are you going to join us Sunday Live ever, dude?
I don't think so. I can't tomorrow either because of his game and
That's
stuff.
fine.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
Don't apologize.
If you guys want to double my rate, I'll think about it.
Okay. Your rate, my rate,
Yeah.
Elijah's rate, Sharpie's rate.
That'd be 2 times 0, still 0.
Yeah. So let's
take it.
Let's get into that.
At least there's a multiplier.
Yeah, the divisional part here.
Somebody slide some cash into there. Wow, now we're cooking.
Let's talk some must-haves. Dolman brought this up. This was hilarious, but you buy into it, Kraynak. Is tonight a revenge game for Husker Nation? It's Akron 2.0, brother.
This is for Frosty? Is that what we're doing? Is that what tonight is? This is for Frosty.
I think there are some people who rather give up points to Akron for that.
I know. It's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
Hold those sevens high.
It is so. In that, I mean, what a great way to honor Scott Frost, right? Put some sevens on the board today. You know, put a few of those on there. That would be. It is so tough to know what to make of Akron. I mean, when you're at home and you get shut out by Wyoming, whose NIL probably isn't incredible. I'm guessing. Like, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's fine. You know, and I know Akron's isn't either. And Akron actually got a ton of transfers in from some big-time schools, right?
You were telling me during the break that in today's day and age, schools can still get punished for their grades, and Akron's one of them.
Akron is, they're ineligible for a bowl game because their graduation rate, I think they call it like the APR or something like that.
Academic progress report.
Yeah, it's the worst.
0.0 Mr. Blutarski.
Like, you got to almost try to get to that level to where the NCAA is going to ban you from participating in postseason play.
It is in the era of ChatGPT. It is kind of crazy.
It's just like, really? Like, yeah. So their combined APR is so bad. Their team is so bad that the NCAA is just like, y'all are going to ruin our rep if we let you in bowl games.
I don't think I'm going to be honest here. I don't think Akron has to be too worried about a bowl game this year anyway.
Probably
that's
not.
The kind of team we're talking about here. They are lacking.
And they got shut out at home. Like, it's just, I don't even know. It's hard to know what to make of them. And so anything short of, like, if this game ends up like 24-13 or something, it's just I'm gonna want to vomit.
Let's talk fan polls here, right? Is you're elated? You want to know. Lot to clean up. You want to see. You go hammer somebody. You want to go get an old-fashioned dirt road AK, and you want to hand it out to a team you're supposed to hand it out to. That means you want to see the offense do whatever they want, run the football, throw the football, hit explosives. You want to see the defense rip the quarterback's head off and then beat him with it. All right. And you want to see solid run defense.
Yeah.
Against a team that got raided by the portal. Anyone that could, breathe, that was halfway competent playing football is not at Akron anymore.
No. And that's what makes this season going into Michigan kind of interesting, is that Cincinnati plays an unorthodox style of offense and defense. Now you go against Akron, who's, bottom 2% of FBS football, and then Houston Christian, that's probably bottom 2% of FCS football, right? So it's going to be tough to know what you really have. And then you go against Michigan, and it's just such a giant leap. They're just more traditional. They have also a 5-star quarterback who they haven't let get loose with his legs yet. He'll have been tested, too, since he goes to Oklahoma before that, which you would hope that Nebraska would have been his first road game without Sharon Moore. But so the moment probably won't be too big for him. It's very strange preseason, I guess.
Yeah.
Very strange non-con for Nebraska. And even if they do roll today, do you really know a lot?
No. You won't.
Based off of that?
Well,
if Mekhi Nelson gets loose on their second-team defense for a 50-yarder, what does that mean?
At least it's meaningful carries. At least it's something.
It's a chance to build the confidence. Success builds into that confidence.
Sure.
That's what these two games are. Confidence is important. I mean, you've seen a Husker team over the past decade that late-game moments has had no confidence. So it's important to build confidence. That last week against Cincinnati, despite the fact that it's heart and mouth time in that fourth quarter, it's a chance for that team to build confidence in a late-game scenario. These next two games are chances for the guys like Mekhi Nelson and Mosey and the defensive line, who plenty of these guys have not had snaps at this level. It's a chance for them to build the confidence, to at least have some good feelings whenever Michigan comes to town, as opposed to we've been getting our ass kicked the last couple weeks.
How much do we see TJ Lateef today?
I see him in the second half. Buck 380 says, might want to remember we haven't done anything in the last 25 years. I'm staying optimistic and not trashing any opponent. Fair enough.
Fair. That is the thing. People have not been shy about clowning on Akron, but at the same time, it's sort of deserved, right? I mean,
they're here for a paycheck.
Yeah,
they're here for a paycheck.
Yeah,
and you need to remind them of that fact early in this football game.
Yeah, they're not competitive in their own conference.
You work for me.
Yeah.
It's not to be disrespectful. It is just the reality of the situation here. You are paying Akron a lot of money to come in and lose by 40.
Right.
It's what you have them here for. You need to go out. Nebraska needs to go out and perform like that. Can't be a sleepy performance. I think the coaching staff got on them this week about their performance against Cincinnati.
Yes.
I think you're going to have a motivated Nebraska team. You need to look like it early. You got to go punch Akron in the mouth, say, hey, we're paying you $1.2 million, whatever it is, for a reason. Go out there, try to stay healthy for 60 minutes, and we want to beat you by 40, get out of here, move on to Houston Christian.
Give Genatone a couple fullback dives. Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps.
Let's do that.
We'll have a break coming up. We'll bring the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp. He is, I don't know, he's not quite in the green room, but he's at a table. Sharpie, did you order any food? Did you order any food? Did you order any food? No? Okay. Just drinking a rum and diet, I see. Okay. The Iron Horse is there. Steve checks in and has a take here on Dylan. Says, I think Dylan will dink and dunk against Akron. That 4-2-5 defense. Running backs, wideouts will have a good day. Yak yards will be about 300.
Okay.
And there you go. D-line will dominate 45-7, says Steve. Quick timeout. We'll step away. We'll get Gary Sharp, the Iron Horse, back in. We'll get some more of your comments here in the stream. Always like and subscribe to the Average Joe Sports Show 7 days a week on YouTube. Hear us, of course, on KFOR Monday through Friday, and then football weekend Saturdays as well. AJ Sports Radio on Twitter. And tell a friend and subscribe. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. A quick timeout. More of the Average Joe Weekend Edition here at the Single Barrel inside the Graduate 9th and P.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PARTY5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866.
We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Back with you here on the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. So we've got a little MacGyver here. Sharpie, say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
Justice, nothing's melting. Are we good? Okay. Elijah,
nothing's running down yet.
Yay.
Oh, testing.
There we go. Why not just do it as Bill O'Reilly said? We'll do it live.
We're all good. We are all good, folks.
You had to edit there. Sharpie, how we feeling? It's Akron week, brother.
They should beat the hell out of Akron. That's a bad football team. I know we're supposed to be a tease and say you're not supposed to overlook any opponent. That's
Respect the game.
I watched the Akron Wyoming game, so you guys wouldn't have to. They're not very good. Okay.
You took that grenade, did you?
They're making a total of $2 million for having Butch Hug come on the field 7 years ago.
Tell that story. Butch was looking for the moose.
The whole story?
Butch was looking for the moose.
He was. Butch Hug was in charge that night. He's not the athletic director at the time. But how about this? So Moose did the deal with Akron to come back here for tonight's game.
Oh, that was good of him.
They paid him, half of their total in 18, and then they gave him an additional $1.4 million to come here tonight. So they've gotten $2 million for playing one football game in Lincoln.
That's not awful.
Yeah. But you know what? So let's do this real quick. Let's compare, because you guys remember 7 years ago, the vibe in this town was unbelievable.
Oh, man.
The stadium was about to fall down. And then Butch Hug came on the field, and the rest is history. It was an omen. And now you compare it to today, where the weather is fantastic here in Lincoln.
Great.
Yep.
There's a lot of people here.
Huge.
Yeah, there are a lot of people here.
Very early arriving tailgating crowd as well today.
Exactly. So I don't know what that means. We've jonesed for some football for so long. I think the weather has something to do with it. Plus, it's a night game. And I think it's also the optimism, the vibe. You know, people went and partied down in Kansas City last week, and they're like, that was kind of fun. Let's go to Lincoln and let's have another big party.
Yeah.
You've got such a bump, too, from winning a close game. Not everyone's.
Yeah, but I listened to the Average Joe Sports Show during the week, and I thought Nebraska was 0-1.
No, come on now. We weren't quite there.
Hey, I have said Nebraska is 3-0 at this point in time.
Yeah, we added 2 to it.
Well, I mean, as Gary said, you should beat the hell out of Akron. You should beat the hell out of Houston Christian next week. Like, Nebraska is currently, barring a disaster, 3-0. Yeah. And it's just, these are essentially tune-up games that are going to be wins where you're getting ready for Michigan. Sitting at 3-0.
And let's be honest, you're cheering for Michigan tonight?
I am.
Same.
But there's a lot of people who are like, I would never in my life cheer for Michigan. I would like the best version of Michigan to come in here. Now, maybe the version of Michigan is they have a freshman quarterback and they're the same 8-5 team with a little better offense than we saw last year. But, yeah, I mean, you're kind of – if you're a conference person, you want to see the Big Ten continue to win games against the SEC like they did last weekend. But it's twofold. Like if Michigan looks really good tonight and Bryce Underwood plays well against a Brent Venables defense and on the road in Norman, you're like, all right, game on in 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I do think, though, as I say what I say about Akron, the next 2 weeks are pretty important for Nebraska. They can't sleepwalk through this. They've got to get guys reps because tonight and next week is actually to build next year as well. Mm-hmm. So guys that are second, third, fourth on the depth chart, they get a chance to get game reps at game speed. But I think Nebraska, this is where you make a big jump, and we're sitting here after the game or tomorrow morning or next week, and we're not just, banging our head about something that is still an issue that we already didn't think was an issue.
So the old adage, Gary, is that you're able to save some things for insert opponent here.
Yep.
Right? You're saving things. You got these secret plays that these other collegiate staffs with decades and decades of experience have never seen in their entire lives, and they're not going to be able to stop. Do you buy into that? Is that a real thing, or is that similar to what we always say of, well, you make your best improvement from week 1 to week 2? No one's actually studied to know whether or not that's true.
I do know there is one play they got in the pocket that they're saving for some point this season.
Okay.
And I'm sure it was in the playbook as well last year, when you have Ty Robinson in the backfield or Cam Linhart in the backfield.
It's a little moderation and a tip of the cap to Sue.
But even things like
there will at some point be that touchdown pass to Linhart at some point this season. You can bet your bottom
just
dollar.
when his other hand's healthy.
Do you think that what we saw against Cincinnati and what we might continue to see today and against Houston Christian next week is an offense that is holding things back, that is keeping things vanilla, so that come Michigan time, you unleash the fury?
No.
Okay.
But I think you will see. I think you have to have the mindset the next 2 weeks that you can line up and play somewhat basic football and beat your opponent and work on the fundamentals. Nebraska did some real small details well last Saturday or last Thursday, especially special teams. But there were other things like guys getting lost in their gap, guys not taking a direct route to the blocker, not identifying which shoulders you should hit. So I don't think Nebraska wants to, fancy it up. I think they just want to go out and play football. I think there are, as Elijah was alluding to, there are things that you hold, but I don't think you play your whole cards against the next two because you don't have to. Yeah. But if you have to, you will.
Do we see more Nelson today, or do we see Mosey, or do we see Ives? Which Which of the three?
Well, I think for Ives, the next 2 weeks is to put something on tape. Not necessarily for Nebraska.
Okay.
I think, and do you guys see this? Because Mosey is a running back that runs like a wide receiver. If you get that.
Yeah.
Could he be
He's fluid.
He's you know what? It was the first game. He had a bad read in the inside handoff. And then on the pass, if Dylan hits him in stride, it's probably a little bit different.
He's not hunting for people's arms like Dowdell was.
No, and it's his first
Yeah.
game. Okay, so but I think, and I think Elijah alluded to this during the week on your show, is you'll see him a little bit more. But could he be used? I'm not comparing him, but could he be used as a Deebo Samuel type player throughout his entire career? Not this year, but his whole career at Nebraska.
I think that's a thought because you've heard the positionless offense term uttered.
I think that's what they wanted to do with Bonner.
Yeah. Well, and because they talked a lot about what all he is good at doing, and that's not just perimeter blocking, but they love him in the red zone, especially in motion. A lot of comments on Bonner, and you wish him well with his recovery because he is the tone setter for that receiver room, and he's the tough guy that just goes to work.
You said it. Anytime you lose a toughness guy, that sucks. Right, and it's not like Bonner's putting up video game stats, but that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
But he's the guy that doesn't care.
Right,
he just wants to go win balls.
And he's the guy that'll just lower the boom on some linebacker, and help spring a run.
There's a reason why he got a single digit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So with Mosey, though, I mean they'll do what they want with him, and that means can flex him out, can hand it, can make him a third down dynamic player. He's just got to get more comfortable with it. There's got to be trust that continues to develop in game. And I think his instincts are good. But you look at Dana's commentary, got to win the ball game, and his comfort level was number 21.
Well, are you reading into the fact at all that it was Mosey, the first backup running back, getting the handoff? Because I think both those guys are going to get carries throughout the season. Are you reading into that at all? The fact that Nebraska sends him out there, and it wasn't one of those. And they had a couple plays last game where it was both Nelson and Mosey in the backfield. But the first handoff from a backup running back went to Mosey, and there was no Mekhi Nelson on the field.
If there had not been an ensuing play right after that, I would have said yes. But I think they put Mosey on the field to get a show because he stayed on the field as a wide receiver.
Yep. Yeah.
I think you'll see both of them. But here's one thing. Nebraska, they can't. Emmett's not built to have 32 touches, but we all think he should have 20 to 25. I still think tonight, next week, Emmett needs some touches. He needs to be the lead guy. And remember, you're trying to win the football game. He gives you the best chance at running back to succeed. So he won't have the abundance over the next 2 weeks, but I hope they don't say, hey, you're on a pitch count, only 10 to 12. I hope he's 15, 18, and I think when we get into Big Ten, he's back to what we've all discussed about 20 to 22.
The thing is what Nebraska fans are hoping for tonight and for some kegs and eggs next Saturday is that you don't need to lean on Emmett to make sure you deliver the knockout blow. Get me the second team, RB3, RB4, those touches, the 4.5, 5, 6 a carry, whatever it needs to be distribution-wise, and go win it that way with your backups because you're supposed to be able to blow this inferior team out of the water.
Some somewhat super specific things that we liked that we saw last week. And Isaiah Hunter contested catches, right? It's been a little while. And Dane Key has a ton of that on film. We didn't see a lot of that against Cincinnati, but he's also a contested catch guy.
But what struck me about Dane Key was that football knowledge of he just knew where to sit down in a route. Dylan knew where he was going to sit down in a route, finding the soft spot in the zone.
Got him in rhythm.
He was a mature wide receiver. That really stood out to me. Just his ability to I think see the same thing that Dylan saw pre-snap, and those two are on the same page a lot of the time. A lot of big third downs are going to Dane Key.
And for as much as the defense was, the defensive line. And you give up 200-plus rushing yards. A lot of those, I think, kind of garbage, sort of broken plays from the quarterback. Waniri, I thought,
really good.
Right? He flashed
game,
that 5-star athleticism, I think. What are some other things that y'all notice that are maybe super specific, but are just kind of like, good, okay, good sign, maybe things we haven't seen in a while?
Well, I like, throw out Vincent Shavers because I mean, you know what you expect out of him, but he delivered it.
Oh, he did.
He absolutely delivered it, and he's patrolling that middle for you. You got what you expected, and it changed the game, and you get more of that this season. So that's what I really liked. Because it was huge.
Maybe an overreaction just based on how the game plan was going, especially in the second half. But Nebraska's cornerback pairing is the best cornerback pairing since ... He goes
Probably Prince and Fonzie.
Is it a little early for that? Maybe.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I think Andrew Marshall is a great pickup.
Yeah. And Sia Wright shut down his half of the field almost every single time. The ball's thrown his way once, I think, all game long.
Those guys do play with a lot of enthusiasm, which is good to see.
They
right?
played that the entire secondary was just flying.
Yeah, and they celebrate often, right?
Yeah.
They're really into it.
So I think what helps the defensive backs is they really like their position coach. Addy is closer to a Coop than he is to a Butler.
Yep.
But you also have the defensive coordinator is a defensive back coach. He understands those guys. He gets those guys. And then also Phil Snow has worked a lot with the defensive backs. So they have put a lot of attention on those guys because they think they're going to be really, really good. I mean, look at Butler. So I think it was John Butler back calling plays, learning all of that stuff Thursday night. It wasn't a major concern, but there's probably some things he'd like to have back in terms of calls. But that final play, he called the defensive back grouping and also what they were going to do where they confused Sorsby with a coverage that they've never shown in the game with what they did with Hartzog and what they did with Sierra Wright, who basically just handed him off, and Sorsby got confused, short arm the ball. Hartzog makes a great play. I think it's a really, really good room that has a ton of competition because look at the backup guys that play. Now, I don't consider Donovan Jones a backup guy. No. His trajectory is through the roof, but he comes in, he makes plays. Rex Guthrie, for his first game, I thought he played really, really well. Now, there were 2 plays where you'd love to have back, but that's a first guy playing. So that whole room, safeties, cornerbacks, I thought played really well. I think that is something we're not going to have to worry about this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think whenever you look at the corners, I see 3 draft picks there with Donovan Jones, Sia Wright, and Andrew Marshall. And Sia Wright and Andrew Marshall could be top 3 round guys. And Donovan Jones.
Really? You think so?
I think so. Top 3 rounds.
Well, I mean, I always say that just because, Tommy Hill was top 2 rounds. His injury obviously didn't help, but it's tough to do. So I just, that'd be a welcome surprise, I think.
Yeah, and Donovan Jones with his frame, if he keeps ascending, he's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
If he ascends the way you expect, that is a guy that has a body type that NFL scouts will drool over.
Is this going to be a little hidden weapon for Nebraska this year, just given John Butler's background and having a veteran secondary to where you can put a lot on them, you can get pretty exotic, you can hide coverages because these dudes have played, right? They're not true freshmen. Does that come into play against, say, we don't want to look ahead an opponent, so let's look ahead too. Does that come in, with Bryce Underwood?
Is it enough to carry Nebraska against these mile marker games?
Because here's Bryce Underwood's super talent. I mean, and the dude can wing it. I mean, he's got an incredible arm. But it'll be like his 3rd, 4th game. He'll be without his head coach. Like, isn't your strategy then to just try to scramble his brain as much as you possibly can with elaborate coverages and all that?
I think the question to be asked is, can Nebraska's secondary give your defensive line, your front 7, time to develop? Those guys, they need to get better. You have 2 opportunities here to get better, but it's going to be like the runway. Can the defensive back room keep you in football games while that front 7 learns how to play at this level?
And I think, can the defensive backfield play as well as they do in zone? Can they play that way in man, which will go a long way from helping from the back end all the way up? I think another thing that maybe that didn't surprise me. Now, I think Keona Davis, by the way, needs to play more. I hope that it's Keona Davis, Winery, and Riley Van Poppel.
Those are your
3 out there tonight. They had some interesting combos on the defensive line that I don't know if they'll go back to. They had George and Judy together, and I'll be curious because it was like the first game and they were trying to figure things out, who all went with each other.
Back to the secondary real quick. If you can get that back end to be elite with 0 coverage, Sharpie, I don't know what Nebraska's future holds with pass rush. If they're going to have to send 5, 6.
There wasn't a lot of drop back with Cincinnati, though, right?
No,
Like,
no.
It was
when
one read, and either the ball was out or he
when
was
they
tucking
did,
it.
though. I mean, when he did hold and try and find someone open, there was some pressures. I think they blitzed 13 times. There was 7 or 8 hurries. I don't know if Nebraska's going to be in position this year to be able to get home with the minimal amount they send. That translates to the secondary to hold things up and give more time for the defensive line to get after the quarterback. That's an ongoing thing for me this season with what the schedule holds.
Yeah. Should we update people here on the availability?
Yes.
Because there's one. Everybody's looking for one guy. He's not on the out or questionable.
What are we talking about?
Eli Pritchett.
Meaning he's
I'm sure we'll get to him. But let me ask you guys. So talking about the pass rush, and again, I think Nebraska got caught in some sloppy stuff of stunts where they were a little bit out of their gap.
Yep.
And Cincinnati blocked him really well. What do you think, now that we've seen him, and we've seen him everywhere, what do you think the usage looks like for Deshaun McCullough?
I loved his ability at the line. I mean, he was flying everywhere.
Can I also say I wasn't encouraged by the 2 guys I saw behind him, McGahee and Ochoa? Those guys, well, McGahee did not look like what he was last year. Ochoa, I mean, a little bit of a bigger body, but it looks like McCullough's going to have to play a lot this year.
McCullough's a pursuit guy, too. You saw him from behind diving to try to be the second or third tackler, so he likes to give up his he's willing. He's willing to give up his frame for sure. And he's got an impressive one. And you just mentioned the D-line that you would like to see. Man, in terms of all bus type guys, that's a good-looking D-line right there.
Keanu Davis needs to play more.
Yeah. Keanu Davis and Waniri are different. They're just built different than the rest, and Van Poppel's no slouch.
Well, my own eye test showed me, watching that game back a couple times, the defensive line was at its best when it was Van Poppel and Keanu Davis in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
those
guys,
that was the second quarter that they took control.
Yes, and I don't know why Van Poppel's not the number 1 guy. I'll just leave it at that. From what I've seen in limited snaps last year, what I saw in 15 or so snaps last game, he looks like the best interior lineman option you got.
He is the poster child for how they're handling this team, in my opinion. If you don't consistently practice well, you're not going to get rewarded on Saturday.
Okay.
And I think you see that with some rotations and some guys that we go, hey, I'd like to see him more. Because, Elijah, you're right. He only played 20 snaps. Now, there's the cut-up of him being pushed around and he was easy to block. But he had kind of like a night of the entire team. He was the performance was disjointed, but at the end of the day, he was credited with a stop that was pretty important, and Nebraska won the game. But he played 20 snaps, and I think he ended up with 5 tackles. So I think what they're looking for him is consistency. You know, we know what you can be. You got to do that more often, and those snaps will go up. I think in games where you feel like it's going to be a 4-quarter battle, I think you'll see the flip of Judy won't have 32. That'll be a Van Poppel area. And maybe Judy goes back to 20, where I think he's more effective.
Well, and what I think Nebraska's interior defensive line needs to show is on film, there needs to be a guy on the inside that other teams look at and say, we got to double team him all night long. And you had realistically a guy like that in Ty Robinson, and even at times Nash Hutmaker, which made things really, really difficult for other teams. Cincinnati, as the game progressed last week, I don't think they felt they needed to double team anyone on the defensive line.
And listen, you don't get a guy in that interior, fellas, that demands that double team. Somebody on the line can go eat. Someone's going to win, and it really blows up the offense.
It also frees up your linebackers.
Yes.
And they had offensive linemen in their grill all week long last week. And I don't think the linebackers had their best game, but you saw pretty consistently 2 offensive linemen from Cincinnati getting to second level and getting hands on linebackers. And that's what, if you have to double team a guy inside and they can stay firm in that, keeps an offensive lineman from getting up to second level and going and blocking a linebacker. It frees those guys up to go and make plays.
Well,
in Nebraska's linebackers last year, and I know it's only a one-game sample size, they were a lot more free to go make plays last year because they didn't have offensive linemen in their grill throughout the course of entire games.
I think we all are kind of in agreement that Nebraska's linebackers are coached well. Rob Dvorak's a really good coach.
Yeah.
I think Vincent Shavers by the end of the year will be the second best player in this program. His instincts, just his instincts before you get to everything else that is his DNA. I mean, he's impressive. If you get a chance tonight, just watch him play when he's on the field. I thought outside of him, the linebackers were bad. 0 and 33 were absent. Now, I expect more out of Javen Wright because he's in his 7th year. He didn't play very well. Watson Trent is very undersized. Like you saw him on the field for the first time, and you went, whoa. He also didn't practice a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
So I'm going to wait for the next couple of weeks to see how he does. But, man, he's a really undersized linebacker to be playing in the Big Ten.
He's an instinct guy also, which does make you wonder if he didn't flash, he might have just been nursing something because
I didn't like his instincts last week. I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, totally. I agree with you, but that's why he was a separator. That's why why he's at where he's at now is because he's flashed those a lot on a different level, and put up really ridiculous tackle numbers that you don't put up unless you have good instincts. But I think he was probably limited physically and couldn't show.
Instincts and preparation also go hand in hand. And whenever you're playing a team that you don't have film on, it can slow down your processing. Whenever typically an instinct guy has those instincts because they are a film room junkie. The type of guys that know what the offense is running before they run it.
Yep.
So you wonder if he can get some film to watch of upcoming opponents, whether that improves his stock, improves his game.
Gary Sharp is here. We're at the Single Barrel. Mark Kraynak, Elijah Herbel, Justice Rhody, Chris Schmidt. Weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show, and love being here at the Single Barrel. Junior's hammering away a big old burger, Kraynak.
We're supposed to split that.
That ain't
I hope you got the memo. We're splitting that. Yeah.
Wow, what does your food bill look like for him? I mean, it's been cool because we've all seen him from a toddler to now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this is his second burger today, and I'm sure a third one's on its way tonight.
Someone get this kid a beer.
Yeah, seriously.
That's Uncle Elijah.
Calories just disappear within him
they
somehow.
Sharpie, let's get into Pritchett here. Talk a little bit here. We got a hard break here at 57 before we wind it down. And he was really nice in the run game, had the obvious ball start at the half-yard line. You still need to punch it in from the 6. This week, I'm sure he was challenged by his coaches, and you need him to be right mentally and physically on the field and off the field here by Michigan. Got 2 weeks, but he's a guy that Nebraska has taken a lot of time with. They've made a financial investment. You see the talent, but it needs to be put together in his football life right now.
Yeah, he's their best left tackle. I mean, I think they take a step back when Gatula plays left tackle compared to what Pritchett can do when Pritchett is really good. I think I think Gatula needs to be better at his craft in terms of being decision-making and the right step and all of that stuff. But Nebraska can't afford to have Pritchett on the field if he's going to shoot you in the foot.
Yeah.
So Gatula is probably less likely to make a back-breaking mistake than Pritchett is. But when Pritchett is good, he's good.
Yeah, he's difference maker.
He's on a level where you can't make the penalty that he made. And you know what? They hold guys accountable. They have options. Even though, I think Pritchett is ahead of Gatula. If you're going to make mistakes and you're going to hurt the team, you're not going to play.
Yeah.
And I hope we're not going down the path of Mazuka of last year. Right. Because when Mazuka was good, Mazuka was the best offensive lineman. But Mazuka got into a pissing contest with his position coach, and the next thing you know, he's not playing, he's not around.
That never go well.
And all of a sudden we go, well, there's a guy they paid a lot of money to, and they knew what they were getting from what we heard from Florida, the player and the non on the field. Are we doing the same thing with Pritchett? And you hope that's not the case because they need him to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my question, honestly, with him, I think Gatula is a fine left tackle, and he's going to be very good. He's still a young kid in the program.
Yeah, it's a credit to him that he's even ascended to this position right now, right? He's sort of ahead of time.
He is a fine option.
Yeah.
Pritchett's a road grader. He's a mauler from the left tackle spot, and I would even go as far as to say I would take the occasional 5-yard penalty from Bridget because he is adding so much more to your game with what he does moving the line of scrimmage on that left side. If you want, at some point, next time he's on the field, which I'm not sure if that's going to be today or not.
Be surprised if it's not.
Watch out for it.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's going to be a guy that's in action today. We will see. But when he is on the field, just watch him from a run blocking point of view, the movement he gets on defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Guys go flying whenever Elijah Pritchett gets his hands on him.
And it clouds over something about the offensive line from Thursday night is because we focus on the 3 that played left tackle. I mean, one has already been voted off Survivor Island, and I don't know why you just don't commit to making Turner Corcoran a guard.
I said that all off.
But a guy that hadn't played football in 644 days was pretty good on the other side, and and I think played every single snap in Teddy Prohaska.
I think he was your best offensive lineman.
And I don't think any of us would have said that on August 1, that, hey, when Nebraska plays in 4 weeks in Cincinnati, Teddy's going to be your best tackle. That's a credit to Teddy. And we always say, well, if he can stay, well, let's just roll the dice.
Yeah.
He's going to play the next game. He made it to game 2. Let's try and make it to game 3.
Totally.
But I thought he was really, really good. And you could tell that they relied on him. They trusted him on that side with some of their play calls that went right in the outside zone.
He's so athletic.
I was surprised watching back on film some of the leverage he's able to get. He has a big body, 6'10",
and he can get low.
The leverage he was able to get in the run game was impressive to me. I loved what I saw from him.
And he's also so big that sometimes he just like smothers who he's blocking. Where they just disappear on the screen.
But is he that big?
6'10",
Is he that big?
I mean,
he fit into a Ford Ranger.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's like Dino. His head's sticking out the sunroof.
That's just how Ford used to make trucks. Not anymore.
It was the extended cab where they blew out the extended cab and he's in the back of the truck bed.
By the way, I was in Elkhorn last night. I was looking for people wearing farmers' clothes.
Okay.
Didn't see a lot of them. Elkhorn has changed in about 45 years.
I would say the same. Gretna 10 years ago, you could find some people in farm clothes. Jana was a Gretna kid. Nowadays, not so much. Now Mark Kraynak lives in Gretna.
No.
Are you just north of Gretna?
Yeah, it's Millard. It's Millard.
Okay, you're Millard. Never mind.
Yeah.
That is.
But I do stop by there occasionally.
Kraynak,
like everybody else, they transferred to the Millard School District.
Yeah. Jeez. By the way, I saw Millard South last night.
Millard West didn't see him.
Yeah. No.
Hang tight. Some more thoughts here as we get you geared up for Nebraska Akron. It's the Average Joe Sports Show weekend edition here from the Single Barrel. Quick timeout, and we'll wind it down. A half hour left of the show. And good to be with you here on the stream, the YouTube channel, the airwaves of KFOR, and on Twitter, AJ Sports Radio. Back after this.
Tale of Becky didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Excuse their mess at Ernie's Pet Food Store as they expand to provide pet parents and their furry companions with more high-quality pet foods and treats, along with more tasty chews, exciting toys, and pet care products you won't find in other stores. Sign up for their exclusive Astro Pet Loyalty Program and save money. Arnie's Pet Foods, your one-stop shop for all your pet care needs. Alamo Plaza, 56 and Nebraska Parkway. Lincoln's independent, family-owned, Pet Food Store.
Imagine what you could drive. A sleek new SUV, a sporty coupe, or that family ride with all the bells and whistles. At Liberty First Credit Union, auto loan rates start as low as 4.49% APR for 49 to 60 months on 2020 or newer models. With no prepayment penalties, low monthly payment options, and local financing, you're in the driver's seat from the start. Apply today at libertyfirstcu.com and imagine the possibilities.
Credit factors apply. Rates, terms, and conditions subject to change.
Now that Labor Day's over, it's time to switch out summer outfits for new fall looks and head into the season in style. Shop Macy's today for the latest fall trends from top brands like ruffled skirts and barrel leg bottoms, 25% off. And men's suits for every occasion from Tommy Hilfiger, Michael Kors, and more, 50 to 75% off. Plus, find signature scents from Yves Saint Laurent, Valentino, and so many others. So hurry in now and refresh your fall wardrobe at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Get the latest updates on local weather conditions, warnings, and watches. Text WARNING to 402-258-2800 to sign up for mobile alerts via text message from KFOR Mobile Weather Alerts powered by Lincoln Electric System. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Hershey here from Nebraska Outdoors and your Nebraska Game and Parks. Each week, you and I get to explore the wild spaces, friendly
Lincoln's local news. Talk. We're back with more. It's the Average Joe Sports Show with Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Live on YouTube with the Average Joe, 10:30. Mark Kraynak is here. The Iron Horse is Gary Sharp. Justice Rhody driving the bus. Elijah has 17 shots of Cuervo lined up and just him and a straw. I'm kidding.
Are those his parents?
It's his dad, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say he aggressively hugged that woman. Is that his mom? Is that his mom?
No.
Oh.
No.
I was just inquiring who you aggressively were hugging there.
Family.
I've never met your dad before.
Yeah, I didn't get the height from him, if you were wondering.
Hey, is that your sister?
That is my dad's girlfriend.
Hey, good on Mr. Herbel. Hello. Wow.
These are the times when you wish this show was on DVR.
Hey,
because then we would just rewind that little exchange right there.
Not
That
only
was just
not
the
only
best.
the exchange, but the facial recognition was.
I'm gonna get out of here.
That was-
His feet red. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I am slightly uncomfortable.
I love that your dad is the Lincoln Bill Belichick.
Have you done? Have you done a DNA test to know for sure that it's not your sister?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty positive.
That'd be awkward.
Wow.
That'd be awkward.
Just kidding.
I think that's
Oh
good.
my
I didn't
goodness.
know. I didn't know if that was your sister, and Chris didn't want to go there, so I'm glad you did.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
said
good on
that.
your dad.
I said that was.
I'll pass that along.
By the way, for as much as
Your
we
dad
are,
must have a lot of money.
for as much as we,
Dear God.
She makes money.
we'll have some Gus Johnson
Your dad
qualities.
now has gone up. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. You saw that picture, right?
Hey,
Anyways,
this is pertaining. This
my
is pertaining to college football.
I'll tell you what. So we
bring us back to football,
yeah. So
please?
we can. Yeah,
Back
there's
to
a lot
rushing
going on.
totals.
So we've been critical of certain things and just kind of broken down certain things, but at least Nebraska is not North Carolina and Belichick. My God, that was horrifying to watch. It was.
Did you guys see the highlight of North Carolina's first touchdown, and then it pans to Stone Cold Bill Belichick on the sideline? I wonder if he knew what was coming.
He knew it.
Their level of
He knew
ineptitude.
she was going to ask at halftime if she could have $5 for a slushie.
I said it earlier. He's probably worried all game that she was going to end up at the Sigep house that night.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have seen it coming. They had 70 new guys, and I know that ESPN glazed him, and people were picking North Carolina. I'm glad TCU shoved it up there. You know what?
Yeah.
Because that line was like, how come this is not more? TCU is one of the better teams in the Big 12. So that game actually was like, okay, that makes sense. If you step back and you go, Belichick is trying to coach in college football with 70 new guys and horrific quarterback play. I don't know what happened during their camp that they chose Lopez over Max Johnson. And I know Johnson was coming back from serious leg injury, but geez, they went 2 hours without completing a pass in real time. You had Herb Street's dog had a headset on. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
That's never a good sign.
I mean, by the end of the game, it looked like North Carolina TCU were playing during COVID.
You know what? I mean, about halftime of that game, I flipped it over to that new Hurricane Katrina doc on Netflix, and I thought that was cheerier watching the football game.
So let's segue to what makes you cheery tonight.
You see how when we talk about this, Elijah, he gets really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. It was good. It was well played. What are Nebraska
You live in a
fans
college town.
applauding tonight when we talk about?
Your mic's fault. It's gotten kind of limp.
Thank you.
You had to ankle everything.
Yeah, when you're that age, they got things.
Yeah. All right, back
A
to
little Blue Hill
Nebraska.
time.
Yeah. So, how about them Huskers? How about them Bears?
Too much talk of this impotent offense.
Right.
Hey,
Good work. Let's talk
thank
about
God.
explosives tonight.
Why not?
Okay, so
Why not? Let's do that.
I think this is
The level of penetration.
this
that
is-
Everyone collectively
defensive line.
changes the channel here now.
Sharpie, you were going to say something important.
Yeah.
okay.
About a tight end or
Jesus.
a
By the way,
receiver.
Lindenmeyer, no doubt, number one. I love that kid. If he would have had a downfield block, he would have housed it. Nebraska's downfield blocking needs to get better tonight. So this is going to be a phrase that's going to be beat into the ground, explosive plays. But their explosive plays have to be created. Like Barney fell down on a play. They had guys fall down. They didn't
Hunter,
have
one of Hunter's catches.
They
Same.
didn't have great downfield blocking that would have sprung a touchdown. But let me ask you guys this: does Nebraska have any? And let's use Ohio State type difference makers, or does they just have a depth of guys that can make plays where nobody's going to touch the ball and they're immediately going to hit their head on the goalpost? They're going to get you when you need 70. They're going to get you 40, and you still got to figure out on the next snap how to get the next 30.
I think there are two guys that have that athleticism. They haven't done it yet. So I don't think Hunter's that guy. I think Hunter's a good contested catcher. He's a physical receiver. That's good. There's a place for guys like that. Same with Dane Key. Good contested guy, but not necessarily elite athleticism.
Barney's your home run threat.
Barney.
Is he?
And that's what's interesting.
feet.
I'm glad you're saying that too, Elijah, because we've heard a lot about how he's that guy. But he doesn't make a lot of people miss, and he doesn't get a lot of big plays.
Well, to me, he
just doesn't.
He's quicker than fast. The more I
That's a
watch
great
him,
line.
I think he's quicker than fast.
But is he
Not that he's slow, but he's quicker than fast.
Is he DPE capable in terms of athleticism, though? That's kind of the hope. And then people sleep on him, I swear, but I think Emmett Johnson is also that guy who can bust a long one.
What?
But again, you haven't seen it. But here's the thing. Nobody's busted a long run or pass or catch for Nebraska in years, right? So, it doesn't – big plays don't happen, period. And I'm not sure you can blame it on each of the individuals. I think it's structural to some degree.
With Emmett, we were all spoiled with running backs, and, we most recently go, man, if they had an Amir. If we had Emmett against USC every game, there was a game where, Emmett pulled away from guys running.
Yeah,
I just
it's in him.
It's in him, but I don't see it consistently. But again, I think they have a depth of players that can make plays. That's why, tonight and to next week, when they stretch the field vertically, which they will, because they have a better percentage to do it the next 2 weeks. Mills and Clark, I think are two guys that can hit their head on a goalpost if you get the ball in their hands. But this goes back to Dylan also, and I loved, by the way, when I was driving in, I loved your conversation about Dylan and Thursday and moving forward. Is if Dylan hits guys in stride, is this conversation differently? Because that's the next thing with Dylan that he hasn't done consistently is hit wide receivers in stride.
A deep, he's hardly done it at all since he's been here.
I think it's been part of the receiving crew he's had in a short sample size. He's got a better receiving core, and they're coached better, and it'll translate this season. I think he'll have an opportunity to.
And to me, I think he's got a guy that can be a deep threat in Isaiah Hunter. And Isaiah Hunter, to me, you didn't quite see it last game. There was one, I think Dylan could have had him deep. There was one play watched from the press box where it was a deep post route. and I think Isaiah Hunter probably had a step on the defender. It was the play where Emmett Johnson ended up dropping it.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
And Isaiah Hunter had a
You
step.
wait a count, you could have hit Hunter.
I think so. I think he's the deep threat on this offense this year. Personally, I think Dane Key's more of your third down, sure hands.
Exactly.
Hey, we need 6 yards. We're gonna get 6 yards.
Contorts his body. He's kind of the Matrix type receiver. Yeah.
Well, I think if I were to project out this season, I think Ja'Cory Barney leads the team in catches, and Isaiah Hunter leads the team in yards. Dane Key leads the team in touchdowns. That's kind of how I see this going this year because I think they all play a different role in this passing attack.
What kind of matchup advantage can Lindenmeyer be moving forward? He's not part of the three you're talking about, Elijah, but he was big.
Didn't he surprise you with his production?
Well,
he did me.
It's nice that they just got him the ball. I think we're seeing what he can do. And that's important because, man, if you have that tight end, and Nebraska will want to go double tight from time to time, if they can get a second tight end up to speed, maybe that's Carter Nelson, maybe that's HH, we'll see. But Nelson was, I should say, Lindenmeyer was nice. He was nice after the catch, giving some piggyback rides, finding openings.
I think the Luke Lindenmeyer we saw on Thursday has been here for about a year, but he wasn't needed to be used in that role. Borkature last year probably was underused because I think Borkature could find himself getting an opportunity to play on Sundays, get himself into a camp. And I think Lindenmeyer has been that guy. Now, finally, he is in that role where they trust him to put the ball in his hands. I mean, his route running has gotten better. He chips guys. He gets to his spot. And another thing, you see a lot of tight ends that maybe are learning how to be a tight end. When they catch it, they don't immediately turn it upfield.
Yeah.
Or, Fedoni's problem was he would be like turning a battleship in a hallway. But if he got turned the right way, he could make some yards. I think Lindenmeyer has learned from watching, and I think they're going to trust him more and more, get the ball in his hands, and it's not going to be, they're just throwing to a tight end. They might see him as a big, oversized wide receiver because I'm telling you, that play he made along the sidelines, that was a great play. And probably his speed surprised some people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't seem like he has any one physical trait that jumps off the page, but he kind of has. But all of them are pretty good. Yeah. they're decent enough. And he's played himself into being a guy that they just don't take off the field.
Yep.
He can play in heavy sets. He can play in wide sets. He can play first down, second down, third, fourth, backfield, split out, on the line. I mean, kudos to him. And kudos to Dana, too, for taking advantage of him. Because his prospects have changed dramatically since Dana got here.
And he's one of the reasons why Borkature entered the portal last offseason. And Borkature wasn't happy with how last season went in terms of some usage, how the offense looked. But that was a really, really difficult decision for him to leave Nebraska.
Yeah.
But I think he saw Lindenmeyer and what Lindenmeyer's ascension.
I think if he had both of them.
I know. I think if he had both of them. Well, now with Bonner out, it makes it interesting because both of those guys can block.
Shit, the tight ends aren't happy with the production. Try to talk to a fan, right? I mean, when was the last time Nebraska fans have been like, "Wow, the tight ends are great"?
Harrion.
It's pretty much it's Harrion. That's about it.
Mike, number 44.
Mike McNeil.
McNeil.
Yeah.
He had a few.
Sethan Carter had like one good season.
Yeah.
He had an end around against Rutgers. We all went, we knew that. How come they didn't?
But wouldn't we say? I mean,
made the Bengals as an undrafted free agent for 3 years.
Well, I mean,
it's a perpetual criticism, though. Perpetual criticism year in and year out is underutilization of the tight ends.
Well, and look there are a couple guys that are in the NFL that play tight end in Nebraska that you went, oh wow, were they underutilized? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean Jack Stoll.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you almost think Jack Stoll should have been used more. Austin Allen is retired, but I mean Austin Allen. Hey, you have that height. You ever heard of the red zone?
Right.
I mean, look they did it against Minnesota. Remember that game up there? Yeah. And it was successful, and they tried to come back. It's just. I don't think they've had an OC that understands the value of the tight end position.
It's been a while.
And also has an offense that the tight end is utilized on a regular basis where, when offensive coordinators will say, hey, this guy needs a touch, this guy needs a touch, it actually includes a tight end that needs a touch. And now Nebraska has guys that can do it. I'll be also curious because Carter Nelson played 5 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
What with Bonner out, and that's a big loss for Nebraska because he's the kind of like the Swiss Army guy.
Yeah.
And especially in the red zone when he puts his hand in the dirt and is one of your blockers.
With him and Lindenmeyer, that's a lot of versatility.
So
yeah,
I know that Rule the other day said, "Well, Carter, here you go." What do we expect out of Carter Nelson?
Can we ask the question? Is Carter Nelson built to be a tight end?
He's pretty slim.
They've got his body, so they got his body headed there.
What is a tight end anymore, anyways? Though, right?
Because I look at how Michigan utilized Colston Loveland last year, and I look at him and I go, kind of reminds me of Carter Nelson a little bit. Where Colston Loveland, could he block? Yes. Was that his point in the offense? No. They split him out. And he was essentially a big-bodied wide receiver that was listed as a tight end. I like that with Carter Nelson. Do you have to make him an inline blocker?
It's kind of what you wonder about with Harburg to some degree too, right?
He's somehow graded out as Nebraska's best run blocker according to PFF, and your eye test will tell you that's not his strength.
His strength is if he's in motion or in movement to go wham block versus on the line and fire off.
Got to his assignment. He didn't necessarily execute his assignment.
Yeah, I will tell you, he was far from Nebraska's best run blocker last week. PFF has their system in place, but that one confused me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quarterbacks, as we wind down a weekend edition pregame show here with the Average Joe Sports Show. Mark Kraynak, Elijah Herbel, the Iron Horse, Gary Sharp, Chris Schmidt. So at what point do we see the backups? Quarterback, we've touched Don Dillon. How about the unveiling of one Mr. Lateef today?
When Nebraska's number one offense starts to stack, when they have a nice lead, but they've stacked some good series, where they've been clean series and they've looked good, then I think Rule will go to the bench, and I can't wait to see TJ Lateef.
Prediction time here. Who do we see on the field first for Nebraska? TJ Lateef or Archie Wilson?
Oh,
Archie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's a bad team they're playing, Elijah, but I think Archie will punt maybe once.
Okay.
And maybe it'll be a little bit earlier. I mean, you can't have Archie not punt. His family's here.
Yeah.
It'll be Archie because of a turf monster. Makai Nelson will be wide open, but he'll be so excited to just fall down.
Well, hey, let's just hope we don't have a repeat of Northern Iowa.
Oh, it was they 30, just line up and hold the football.
It was 34-3, but they ran the ball, and the whole discussion afterwards is, well, okay, Nebraska's going to be in trouble, and then some people are going, they won by 31, and you never felt like Northern Iowa was going to beat them. I think it's important for Nebraska to play well in the first quarter, like really crisp, put the ball in the end zone, get off the field on third down, those kind of things. But I almost want to see Archie Wilson punt a couple of times.
He was impressive, by the way.
Were 3 of his 4 punts last week inside the 20?
3 in the 20, 2 inside the 10.
Yeah, he pinned you.
Cincinnati was on the move on that last drive, but look where they had to start it. They had to start at their own 9-yard line.
Yeah.
And he comes into the fourth quarter and has to pin a punt like that in his first college game. I think we have something.
Well, he landed 2 on damn near the exact same spot on the field. It was about the 8.5-yard line or right on the sideline. He landed both of them exactly on that same spot.
No shot to return.
And they just die, too, right? I mean, like the way he kicks them, they don't even bounce all crazy. They just kind of gently land on the – yeah, he's different.
Do we expect the returns to look different tonight? Not the returnees, but the returns.
Based on how they talked this week, based on how the coaches talked this week about how they thought they had a touchdown on one of them, and the opponents, if Nebraska is going to continue to play top-end guys on special teams, which it appears they do, Akron probably doesn't have that luxury. It could, special teams could flex today. I think you can see that.
And I think the punt stuff makes sense because they tried a couple of times, the first 2 to go and block it. So they had no blockers back for Barney, and he didn't fair catch. So we've made an adjustment, but you need more yardage out of that. I wonder also, and it was good to see Kenneth Williams. That's a good story of how he got to Nebraska and he gets the opportunity. Does Nebraska institute, and this probably goes against the, hey, don't make a fair catch, but if you're not going to make it back to the 25-yard line, doesn't it make sense for a little fair catch?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that with the kick returns, right? I don't know. Are you talking about punt returns?
Kick returns.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you were minus when you took it out of the end zone.
You take a couple of games here against Akron and Houston Christian, you keep on rocking with it. But the question is, are you willing to trade some field position at times for one big return that sets you up in plus territory or a touchdown?
And Eck was saying that, look, as was ruled, that there was an opening to take one back. and they didn't execute it. So
special teams looked improved, though.
Well,
right? I think we could all say that.
They 22 and a 52-yard field goal, and the 52-yard field goal by Cunanan could have gone further.
Oh,
easily.
I think another thing that very subtle. So what was it? On the second kickoff of the night, ball goes out of bounds. They have a different guy kicking off on the third kickoff. They're not messing around. I love that. Shows me in-game sense of urgency, and what I've heard this week from the coordinators and a little bit of the head coach, but more the coordinators. There's a sense of urgency. We won, but it's not the way we want to win.
Yeah. Yep.
Going to get Justice in here as we wind it down. Justice, a thought here, my friend, is you've heard us talk a ton about different aspects tonight. Quick shot of whatever's in your cup. We're not judgmental here, but something to cheer about tonight as a Nebraska fan. As you look at this here, what do you think you walk away from tonight here as someone that is at the game and saying, okay, I feel better about not only next week but Michigan because of something you see?
I honestly think that they make a concerted effort to establish the run game. I think they try to find quality depth at the running back position, whether that be with Mosey. I know you guys were talking about him earlier. He really reminds me of the old Baltimore Colts and Lenny Moore, if you remember that kind of flanker back. That they would.
Of course, because I cut my teeth watching Baltimore Colts.
Wow,
Colts football.
I love Justice. This is old soul.
But that's the kind of flanker back that I see where they'll put him in orbit motions, where they'll try to get him running lasso routes, anything to get the athlete the ball in space. I think they try to find depth and utilize him in that way. I think they try to get Mekhi Nelson the ball. I kind of agree with Sharpie when he said they're going to get Quentin Ives out there for some tape, whether that be for here or potentially for some other destinations. We can't be for sure on that yet, but I do think that over these next couple of weeks, and especially tonight, the coaching staff, especially Barthel and Holgerson and Rule, just try to find some quality depth in that running back spot so that they have bodies ready for Big Ten play. I think the running back room you get a little bit more clarity on after the night.
I cast the question to the table here, predicting tonight. Does Nebraska's longest offensive play come on a run or on a pass?
Pass.
I think EJ breaks one today.
Yeah, I can see that too.
That is that's a great question.
It's even odds both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's throwing a dart at the wall, but
I think it is a run.
Is a jet touch pass considered a pass?
That is a pass.
Yeah, I know.
So if it's Ja'Cory on the little jet touch pass, that is a pass.
Yeah. I think Nebraska gets a couple 50-plus yarders today. 3 of them.
Total offense is what tonight? 500?
480.
Okay.
I'm about in that 470, 480 range as well. And I think Akron is held below 200 yards.
Okay.
Yep.
What else are we going to do? Who's going to be the leading receiver?
Ooh, Nebraska's leading receiver today will be, I'll go with Isaiah Hunter.
Okay. You going Isaiah? Who are you picking?
I like that pick. I think because he always gets the benefit of the doubt because at one point he was a roommate of Dylan's. I'll go Dane Key.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking Key also. I think he feasts today on just having gone against SEC defenses for as long as he did. I think he feasts.
But I'm
going to go Lindenmeyer
today.
Okay.
But I think Nebraska, by the way, gets to like 430 yards by midway through the third quarter, and then they bring in 4-teamers and.
How many TFLs today?
3 by Shavers alone.
Okay. So over under at 7.
I'll take 12.
Okay. Kraynak's going over.
Yeah.
I think 7's a good number.
I think it needs to be 7.
Yeah, they need to overwhelm Ben Finley. Well over 7.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just important that Nebraska plays well. It doesn't even you don't really worry about the opponent. It just Nebraska looks like week 1 to week 2. They shored some things up. They have guys that are more confident what they're being asked to do, and they look like a good football team that we all still think is going to win 8-9 games.
Nebraska is superior to Akron in every measurable category.
No doubt.
I mean, on the field, off the field, revenue, NIL,
academics,
fan support, academics.
That is true.
I mean, speed, height, every single element that you can measure, Nebraska is superior, and it should look like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we got this Ohio State and Grambling State game on television right now. And one of the things you see from Ohio State, they're the class of the country.
Yep.
One of the things that you see from them is they're not opening up anything special out of the playbook. it's all pretty base defense.
Yeah.
The offense is running the football, but you're seeing just such a high level of effort from every guy in that Ohio State team. Look, like you have a defensive back right there, shedding a block from the wide receiver, making a play in the backfield. You're up by 63.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see from Nebraska, especially those second stringers.
You know what?
I don't think they're going to open up the playbook or anything crazy like that. I want to see a very, very high level of effort from number one guy in the depth chart all the way down to your fourth stringers, whoever gets on the field today.
I think these are one of these games where an outsider can say the culture is good in that program. If you see wide receivers downfield just crushing people, like I'm watching Oregon. Oregon is up 62-3 on Oklahoma State, and their wide receivers downfield blocking are crushing people, whether they're the one guy or the three guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll wind it down here with the weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, Mark Kraynak, Gary Sharp, Justice Rhody. We'll be back at it for Real Red Reaction at 10 tonight. Here from the Single Barrel. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for streaming us. Find us tomorrow, the weekend edition, and Sunday live at 10:30 here on YouTube. Like and subscribe there, AJ Sports Radio. And Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Enjoy your Husker football Saturday. Thanks for tuning in.